Dramatic last-minute winner. Erling Haaland steps up from the penalty spot to give Manchester City all 3 points against Fulham. It was a hard-fought game. Cancelo sent off, given a red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Many people in Manchester thought maybe, just maybe, today is not our day. Arsenal fans across the country were in celebration until that dying moment where KDB was brought down. The man, the myth, the legend, the freak of nature, Erling Haaland steps up and gives Pep Guardiola those 3 points. It was a dramatic afternoon of Premier League football. We're about to react to it. Smash the like and share button. Let's go!
Absolutely magnificent.
What a game. What a game that was to watch for me. And listen, it started off with City dominant. City in the ascendancy. City in control. 1-0 up. Nearly went 2-0 up. And then against the run of play, there's a breakthrough on goal, and Cancelo commits a foul. And in real time, my initial thought was, it's a bit excessive. Yes, it was a shoulder barge. He used his shoulder. I thought it was a bit excessive. I looked at the ref, and the ref blows the whistle, and he points at the spot. I thought, okay, pen, great. But then my thought was, hang on. He was clean through on goal. There is no last man rule. The last man rule has never existed in football. The rule is denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. And there's a double jeopardy to it. If a player makes an attempt to win the ball, i.e., a tackle or a slide tackle, it's a yellow. If they commit any other foul in that regard and stop a clear goal scoring opportunity, handball, pushing the back, kick, punch, shirt pull, whatever it may be, it's a straight red card. Game on. What a chance. What an opportunity. And Fulham just decided to sit in. A couple of little counters in the latter stage of the second half, but they sat in. And to be honest with you, they kept Man City very, very quiet for large parts of that game. Haaland nearly scores with an offside header. And then in those dying moments, and I did see someone put a comment here saying, Terry, that's not dramatic. That's bullshit. That was dramatic. There was 2 minutes to go. The game was done. City were not creating chances. City were doing niche. They were doing niche in this game. And there, Robertson, I think it was, too cavalier, too naive, brings down KDB. It's not really a foul. He clips him. But KDB times his fall perfectly. So there's no delay. If he'd have caught him and then KDB would have done that like the Mo Salah, oh, and I've been caught. Should I have gone down? Yeah, I think I should have gone down. Oh, I'm going to go down now. Arch the back. It wouldn't have been given. But it was the way in which KDB knew. He felt the contact. He fell straight away. Penalty given. And it is what it is. It's a penalty. Haaland steps up. The man, the myth, the legend, the freak of nature. Bang. End of 3 points. And then essentially, that's all she wrote. Because from that moment in time, as you all know, that puts Man City now back top of the league. Arsenal go from having an amazing opportunity tomorrow, not just to beat Chelsea, but to beat Chelsea and go 4 points clear at the top. And it makes tomorrow now even more dramatic. Tomorrow was about to take a turn where there could have been a 2-point gap again. Sorry, a 4-point gap again. That could have happened. But instead now it's win to go back above Man City. And it makes it dramatic. It makes the Premier League amazing. It's why it's the best league in the world. Phenomenal. Phenomenal afternoon of football. That isn't to mention the other games today. Leeds, 4-3 against Bournemouth after being 3-1 down. 2-2 Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. 3-2 dramatic. Dramatic in the Brighton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers game as well. Like 83rd minute winner. I think it was Pascal Gross got the goal there. Just a sensational afternoon for the best league in the world, the best football in the world, in terms of drama at the very least. A super chat here says, Terry, as a psychologist, I'm telling you, you have difficult familiar events latched to Arsenal. Stop this. See reality. Your words, your tweets, bedlam. Ditch your channel. Your loved ones need you. I don't know what that means, my friend. And if that's you're paying me to be a psychiatrist, give me more. Break down what that means to me. Super chatted though, and I'll put it up on the screen as your psycho analyzing me live on the internet. But I don't quite know where you're coming from, my friend. But my family get enough love from me. My children get all the daddy time they need. And yeah, but if you want to analyze me a bit more, break it down. Break it down. No penalty, complete simulation is what Von Ty says here. PJ says KDB twat is what's being said here. Someone here says not a red card. Well, I've seen a lot of people tweet it's a foul, but not a red card. I'm just going to break this to you without being disrespectful. If you believe it's a foul, it has to be a red card. It can't be a foul and no red card because you're denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. Therefore, it has to be a red card. There's no opinion on this. It is not a subjective decision. If you think it's a foul, it has to be a red card. It's completely it's a non-debate. It's a non-debate. I mean, you can debate if you want, but when you deny a clear goal scoring opportunity, irrespective of the severity of the foul, it's a straight red card. So there is no debate in that as far as I'm concerned. And Cancelo will get his ban. He'll be criticised by. I saw Liverpool fans coming for it massively. I told you it's as bad as Trent. But that's it. They get the 3 points. They're not going to worry about it at all. Aubameyang hat-trick incoming is what Control or Delete has got to say here. Hello, Terry. Hello to yourself as well. Hope you're well, my friend. Man City fans getting a win they 100% did not deserve. Won by a dive. Watch all the plastics defend it, though. I mean, a lot of people here calling it a dive. I mean, for me, look, there wasn't a lot of contact. He went down easy. There's no doubt. He bought the foul in that way. But once there's contact like that in the box, in the 94th minute against Man City at the Etihad, Pep Guardiola is your manager, it's always going to be given. But I'm going to pose that question to people. Do you think it was a dive, people? Is that what we're saying here? Do you think it was a dive? I want your views. I want your opinion. You're the brilliant Football Terrace community, so I want to know right now what you think and you feel. There's no title challenge. City are just getting warmed up. You watch after the World Cup, not to mention the transfer window. Second place is our ceiling, if that. No, Arsenal are in this title race. They're in it. You're in it. We're almost halfway through the season and you're top of the league. Yes, you've just been knocked off now, but you've got that game in hand. Most Gooners are confident of a win at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. And you can do it. Arsenal can do this. Arsenal, excellent. And I'm going to say this about City. They got the win today. But just go through City's recent games. Legitimately, go through City's recent games. They won today, but they scraped it. Okay? They beat Sevilla, but they had to bring on the big guns to do it. They were going to draw if they didn't. Scrape past Leicester away from home. Took an absolute thunderbolt free kick to get the job done. Couldn't score against Borussia Dortmund. They were good against Brighton. I'll give them that. Okay? Beat before that by Liverpool. The game before that, they struggled and couldn't score away against Copenhagen. This City team isn't purring right now. They're the best team in England. They're the favourites to win the league. I think saying it's a shoo-in, that there's no challenge, I don't think you get a Man City fan out there that will completely agree with you. I really do believe that. Mustafa here says soft penalty. Terry is what Mustafa believes. It was a red card is what my man here says. Man like Pav says, sounds like that super chat guy needs love from his own family. Yeah, maybe Pav. I don't know. I hope he's well, though. What a fun day of football. Haaland is Darth Vader. Haaland's just inevitable. I haven't even put out my custom tweet of how many goals he's got and how many more required to break the Premier League record. But what's he on now? 18 goals? Something along. I'm assuming he's going to be on about 18 goals. And if he's on about 18 goals, that basically means what's that then? He needs 10, 6, 17 more. So he's now got more goals than is required at the end. I'm just going to go and check now that he has got 18. I assume he's got 18. Maybe it's even bloody more than that. I don't know. I'm just changing this. Trying to change this on the website, and it's taking forever to load while I'm talking, which is always great. But I can carry it. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. And the website's loading really slowly, as you can see. Yeah, 18 goals. So 34 is the record. So he needs 17 more now. He's got 18 in 13 games. I said he would break the record, I think, after 30 matches. He's he's on course to do it. He really is on course to do it as well. Sensational. Some will say it's a pen, but penalties are real goals. City fan, Cancelo deserved the red because he didn't go for the ball, and KDB needs an Oscar. I love Man City. Was also denied heaps of calls, I felt. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely, Pereira could have been sent off in the opening 5 minutes. That is a definite call in this game. There were some other cards that weren't given and fouls that weren't given. So I think City fans, if City would have lost today or lost drop points, drawing at home to Fulham is a loss when you're a big team. I think they would have complained about the referee. I think the decisions would have been really called and put under scrutiny. There's no doubt about it. Terry, your thoughts on Tomori on Mount was not a red, or are you tripping? I thought it was different because I felt that it was a there was a touch on the shoulder, but I don't feel that. No, I think I did say it was a red. No, I did say I think I did say it was a red. I'm just trying to think what my opinion was. I thought he clipped his ankle. No, he pulled his shoulder. No, I would have said it was a red. I think I said it was a red, if I remember correctly. But I'd have to go back and look. I'd have to listen. If I said it wasn't, I'd need to understand why. I'd have to go back and look. Remember, I do a lot of match reactions. I'd have to go back and look at what I said. But no, I think I definitely would have said penalty and red card, to be fair. I think what I probably moaned about is that it killed the spectacle. In this scenario, this created a spectacle. So from a neutral standpoint, it made the game fun. When the big teams clash, red cards often kill the game. So maybe that's what I was talking about. The ref wasn't good in the City game. However, it was a red card and it was a penalty at the end. You can't kick opponents' legs without getting the ball. Yeah, it's a foul, definitely. If KDB doesn't go down, he doesn't get it. If he delays the going down, he probably doesn't get it. However, yeah, you're right. There was contact, so I totally get it. If Jesus against Liverpool is a PK, then this one is. Terry, honestly, I couldn't see Arsenal challenging. They will fade away like they used to. Look, Arsenal may fade away. They absolutely they may. That could happen. I'm not denying it. In relation to that, yeah, the reason why I'm saying I think it's a penalty is I backed the Gabriel Jesus penalty against, I want to say Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool. And that was about the same level of contact. I said that was a penalty. I'm not going to hypocrisize myself and suddenly say that this isn't one. As much as it would frustrate people that don't want to see City win the league, and I don't want to see City win the league. I don't want them doing a three-peat. I don't want them matching an accolade that only Man United have in the Premier League era. So I want anybody but City to win it this year, probably barring Liverpool, because then they match the amount of league titles we've got. I don't want that. I'm being very strategic in who I want to win because I care about my club's legacy and history. But yeah, I can't deny it. I do think it's a foul and I do think it's a penalty. Question, Terry. If Arsenal drop points tomorrow and Tottenham, Chelsea, and United win, do you consider them in the title race? No, because that is a isolated weekend results and it isn't a reflection of all 13 games so far, which puts us only a handful of games away from being halfway through the season. What one weekend of results, and Chelsea have the capabilities of beating all the top teams at Stamford Bridge this season. So Arsenal dropping points in that game, and the other, Man United beating Villa and Spurs beating Liverpool at home is not an indication that they've been as good as Arsenal so far this year, in my humble opinion. So I think you have to weigh everything up. But it's a good question. Does it put, I think a bigger question would be if Chelsea drop points and Spurs drop more points because they've been dropping points regularly in the last in recent matches, and Man United win, does that put them into the top 4 race? They go level on points with Spurs, who a lot of people are saying are 1 or 2 wins away from being in a title race. Where does that put them? I think that's the bigger question based on consistency and trajectory. It's typically how I look at football. City drop points to a terrible Liverpool team and Arsenal smacked them up. Nah, you're delusional. I mean, I didn't bring that up, but maybe you're talking to somebody in the comment section. I don't know. But there we go. 3P is coming, Terry. Yeah, very well could be. You're a very, very good team. There's no doubt. It could definitely be on its way. No, Terry, you have to keep saying Arsenal will win the league. Consistency is key. I will say what I think and feel in the moment and what I feel after reflection. That is what I do. And right now, I believe Arsenal are in this title race. If Arsenal lose to Chelsea tomorrow, I believe they're in that Arsenal race. And by the way, my preview for that game comes out later this evening after this show. So keep your eyes out on it. I want, even if you don't support either team, come back and watch it, support the terrace, and make sure you're all smashing like buttons as well. I have to say, we still probably the only element of the football terrace community that berates me is the lack of like buttons being smashed. Give it a smash right now, my people. Patrick's joining me now to have his say on the show. City get the winner. It was dramatic. What you saying, Patty?
Yeah, what a dramatic match. It was quite weird for me, Terry, because I kept on going out of the house, coming out of the house. So I saw the red card. I went out, then I say, you know what, F this. I'm going to leave. Not again. But when I came back, sorry I came late. I just literally came in and the internet was down. I had to reboot it. Then I saw your link. But thanks for having me. No, it was very stressful. The only thing the reason why I'm more concentrated in this is actually Arsenal, believe it or not. I didn't take them seriously at the beginning. I'm not going to be one of these people who are going to jump on the bandwagon. I remember you did from the beginning. I remember you were tweeting that these guys look serious. I was still laughing. But now they are starting to wreck my head, Terry. Every time I go on Twitter, I'm seeing his Arsenal fans saying we are back. We are going to be champions. Now they're posting that song by 21 Savage that he's going to see Arsenal maybe win the league. So I'm starting to get a bit, pressured now. The same way when Liverpool pressured us. So now I want this cat and mouse game where if they go top, we also go top. We mustn't drop any points. And today I was like, oh my God, dropping points to Fulham. And if we just win one game, Arsenal might look at this as an advantage. And then it's before the World Cup. So if they win both are on top, it's a big motivation for Arsenal. The players will come back and say, let's continue going and we can actually beat this City side. So wow, it was emotional. It was even more hurtful, Terry, because 2 goals were disallowed and they were so close. And then Haaland took the pen and the skip almost saved it. I was like, oh my God, no, please, no, please. So it was
Yeah,
very emotional day for our City fans.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree, and I think Man City were feeling that pressure. I think
yeah,
that they know Arsenal not breathing down their necks. Arsenal were ahead of you,
yeah,
and you're playing catch up. And any slip up, any dropping of points matters. And you could see and feel that tension in the
yeah.
ground. You could hear it from the fans. You could see it from Pep Guardiola's reactions. And listen, for me, it was a penalty, and you
Yeah,
you win the game.
it was, it was.
You win the game fair and square. But that's why I'm not buying into this. Listen, City's history, recent history and record shows you've been the best team in the league for the past 5 to 6 years. There's no doubt about that. However,
Yeah,
I still see flaws in you. I've seen you. This was almost a game
yeah.
that you dropped points in again. You haven't in your last 4 or 5 games been at your scintillating best, and I believe that's because you've got another club now pushing you and hurrying you along. And I think tonight's show would have been I think that the viewing figures now will be 2, 3, 4 times as high with Gooners buzzing about tomorrow's game even more if you guys had dropped points. But now what a change of complexion that is, because now it's they have to win to I think they
Yeah, they
have to
have
win
to.
to they have to win to go back above you looking at the league table now. Yes, so even if even a draw, you stay ahead of them on goal difference. Like they have to win tomorrow to go back ahead of you. And it makes the game even more dramatic now. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, but isn't that the thing, Terry? Though, the Gunners are gonna have to show us how tough they are because you must remember this, right? The reason why Liverpool are broken right now, people think it's just because of players. It's also an emotional thing, a psychological thing. They've had to witness themselves get close to things and look at a team like City that just manages to beat them by 1 point. Imagine that happening to you all the time. Even let's say if you're in class, you were competing with somebody, and all the time they're first. You try your best, they're always first, and you come second. So this Arsenal team, if they manage to go through this, Terry, I'll give them the highest, most respect because they're a new team, they're fresh, they're young. But I think that's where City maybe might have the edge on them because this is what happens with City. When they know somebody's on their neck, when they know that somebody is competing with them and is at the top like this, they go harder and harder. Even this game, you see, they kept on going because they knew there's Arsenal. If we drop points, there's Arsenal. So we're going to see if Arsenal also has the same thing as you say. It's going to be interesting if they also have the same mindset that, let's say, if they go down to 10 men, Arsenal goes down to 10 men, one of the games it might happen. Are they going to do the same? Will they continue pushing? Will they win as no
Yeah.
matter what? So
I,
I'm enjoying this, man. I'm enjoying this. I hope it goes on like
I
this.
bet you are. I wanted to get your opinion on the big decision that will impact your next game. Cancelo's red card. Did you think it was a foul? Did you think he did deserve the red card?
Look, I don't know. I was looking when I looked at it at first. I was a bit furious. I was like, "What the hell?" He body checked him, but it looks like he did tango him a bit. You know what I mean? And Terry, at the end of the day, you know yourself. These days with the prime, things are softer in this today's game. So if somebody just touches you and you're the last man, it will happen. And I know City fans will get heartbroken, says no, it's not, but it is. If it happened the other way, we could have been raving saying, "Oh, give Robinson, that's the left back for Fulham. Give Robinson the red too." It's just that the red was a bit harsh. I think so. I think a pen is yes, but the red is a bit harsh. But he's the last man, so the rules are the rules. I would take it. Even if we lost today, I was going to accept it. At first, I was fuming, then I accepted. I was like, well, let him go. Even Pep said it on the sideline. Did you see that? Somebody says Pep was telling him that he should have just let him go to shoot.
Well,
It
well,
doesn't
well,
worth.
well, that's the thing because he may not have scored, and even if he does, you had so long left in the game to win the match.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have mattered. It was silly from Cancelo. There's no doubt about it. It was really really silly of him.
Can I say one more thing though before I go? This is to Hussam. Hussam is trying to remove the attention from Trent Alexander-Arnold by throwing it on Cancelo. Hussam is not working. Unfortunately, even Hussam's own followers are going against him in his comments. So Terry, next time you see him, tell him to get off Cancelo because Trent is still holding the title for a very poor defender this season.
Yeah, I kind of knew Hussam was good. The thing with it is, even if Hussam, this is the thing, even if Cancelo is worse at defending than Trent, let's just say he is. Let's just concede
Yeah.
that part of the argument. That doesn't make Trent any better. And for me,
That's a good one.
and,
That's a good one.
and my point of view is this: Hussam's argument, and it's a micro penis competition. Yours might be a centimeter and a half, and mine might be a centimeter, but they're still both tiny. So what the hell does it matter? It's a micro penis competition that you might have just gone on one, Hussam. Well done, Hussam. You've got a 1.5 centimeter penis. Brilliant. Well done, Hussam. It doesn't make sense. Patrick, thanks for coming on, mate. We'll chat to you again soon. Take care, bro. Bye, bye, bye. Look, we want to get your reactions to this game. Did KDB and City deserve a penalty at the end? Should Cancelo have been sent off? Haaland, Mr. Inevitable, is back, giving Pep Guardiola and Man City these 3 points. How will this impact the game tomorrow? Arsenal versus Chelsea as well. The reason I've waited before doing my preview is because I wanted to wait for this game. I wanted to wait for this game. And I'm not going to give you my thoughts on that yet. You have to wait for the preview later tonight. But I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that. Sand City here says haters are gonna hate. Haaland takes 2 players from their 11 when he comes on. Meant KDB was left with 1 man. Haaland effect. Come on, City. It's a great point you make there, Chris. It's a great point. Haaland is like a light to moths. He just attracts people to that light. He creates space for others because he's so dangerous. And that header was marginally offside. Scores a penalty. The guy was on for 20 minutes and he could have had a brace. That is how good this guy is. He's just a phenom. He's just an absolute phenom in my opinion. By the way, when are we going to talk about Cancelo? Because he's always been a terrible defender. Listen, he isn't the best defender in the world. Like when it comes to Zabaleta was a better defensive fullback for City than Cancelo is. Gary Neville, Dennis Irwin, Ashley Cole from Premier League eras gone by. But fullbacks, we know the fullback role has changed. And we know that the fullback role, a massive part of it is how well you can operate in those central and those midfield areas when you've got the ball and how well you do on an offensive point of view as well. What I find really interesting is the same very people a couple of years ago that said that the defensive element of a fullback is irrelevant and it's all about what they do going forward and now massively focusing on Cancelo for not being the best defender in the world. So if we're going to base it on that, that means at no point in the last couple of years was Trent ever the best fullback in the world because he's never been good defensively. So which is it? Which are we basing this on? And the only reason that Trent gets shit, more so than Cancelo, more so than Reece James when he makes a mistake, is because Liverpool fans said at the age of 21, he was the greatest fullback in the history of English football. And on top of that, they said he was he is rejuvenated. Sorry, not rejuvenated. He is redefined the position. Redefined the position. Forgetting about the forgetting about the icons, forgetting about the Dani Alves of this world, the Marcelos of this world, the Roberto Carloses of this world, forgetting about all of them, Trent's the guy. That's why he gets a bit more stick. But he was poor today, Cancelo. Terrible. No doubt about it. I will call it out as I need to call it out. But I want your take on that, my friends. Low salty Arsenal fans, maybe you can buy a few more bench players and try it again. Sell those tier bottles and buy someone new. North London has best bottlers, is what the prodigal fraud son has got to say here. Cancelo is a good defender. He just has his moments. Yeah, I would say he's good. I wouldn't say he's world class defensively, but there aren't very many fullbacks that are. But that's because the role's been redefined, not by Trent, in my opinion, but many of them. They're all being developed at the same time. Football was a change, but there we go. Maybe Trent did do it, but there we go. That's down to you lot to decide. Trent was better defensively when he was younger. Now he has lost a little bit of pace. Well, I don't think it was that. He ain't lost pace at 22, 23. I think it's because Liverpool's midfield was stronger and it covered for his deficiencies. And this is also not on Trent partly. This is partly on Liverpool Football Club and any team. You know, why has Van Dijk become a little bit weaker this year? Because Fabinho isn't protecting him as much. You know, Man United's backline was at its best when we had Scholes and Owen Hargreaves and Carrick in their pomp. When those midfielders were gone or a little bit too old, Rio and Vidic were being exposed a bit more because we didn't have the same level of quality because they're a little bit older. This is just what happens, you know. You have to replace quality with quality and do it in a timely fashion, otherwise you fall away. You don't talk football. What do we talk on the football terrace then? What have we been talking about for 26 minutes then? That is the weirdest comment the terrace has ever had, my bro. Jules, Google best right back in the Prem when the world wants. Sorry? When the world wants answers. Oh, okay. I hear your point there. I'll Google it for you now. Then let's Google it then. Best Premier. Was it best RB in the Premier League? Who comes up? Top right backs right now. His name comes up. Let's do history. Gary Neville comes out number 1, followed by Lee Dixon, followed by Zabaleta, followed by Ivanovic, followed by Laurent, followed by Sagna. Trent is number 7 currently on that list. I just Googled it and read the first thing that came up. I just Googled it. I just Googled it. It's not my opinion. It's a Google. It's a Google. There we go. Let's do this super chat here. City have only played 2 of the top 6. Overrated. Come on, City, you're not overrated. You can't call Man City. You can't call Man City overrated now. Come on. They're not overrated. They're the favorites. They're the favorites for a reason, my bro. They're the favorites for a reason. Come on now, my friend. Come on now. Terry, thoughts on Alvarez? It's a great question. He's very good. Very good, very talented. Excellent opening goal. And it's kind of gone unnoticed in the analysis, really. Excellent run. Peeled off the defender very, very well. Very powerful shot with great accuracy. When City went down to 10 men, though, they just stopped being able to create. And that's kind of normal. Even though they dominated the ball, Fulham decided to sit back and they made it hard. He's just not Haaland's level. And you see the difference when Haaland comes on. He doesn't have the power and the physicality of Haaland. And that's almost one of the most fearful things about Haaland is that he can burst past players with electrifying pace, bully people off the ball, and score goals that most other strikers in the world cannot. But I think that Julian Alvarez is a very, very talented player indeed. I don't think you can get away from that. Very, very talented player. Absolutely is. Terry, it's crazy that most Premier League teams need to have an extra player on the pitch versus Man City for the game to look competitive. I've said it before with City, and City fans always take this the wrong way. City are so good, their games are boring. They're so good. By the way, I said that about Pep's teams at Bayern and at Barca generally, until they played another superstar team that was brilliant. A lot of their games were boring because they were very rarely troubled. So from a competitive point of view, boring. But that's because they're so good. So good. The reason why I asked that question about the title race is because Spurs would be 2 points behind Arsenal, United 5 points, and Chelsea 7 points. I think it's a fair point in terms of the points totals you're looking at, but I think you have to look at consistency of performances within that as well. And if you then were to double these results again for the next 13 games, there would be a 4, 10, and 14 point gap between those two teams. And if in 12 more games, if Chelsea were 14 points behind Arsenal. United with 10 points behind Arsenal. You could argue Spurs being 4 points behind. You could argue they'd be in a title race and whatever else. But the other two wouldn't be in a title race, in my opinion. But it's a very good question, no doubt about it. Let's do some more of your comments. I want some more of your opinions on this game as well. Of course, we're talking the Cancelo red. Was it a penalty at the end? And your thoughts on this brilliant title race as well. City fans just started being fans because of their success. That's not strictly true, though. The likes of Daps, the likes of Patrick, these guys have proven it online. They didn't have to, but they did. How long they've been Man City fans. Of course, the likes of Boovy, Big Steve, they've been around a long time. They've been around a long time. But success will always grow you new fans. That's fairly natural, I think. That's fairly natural. It's fairly natural. We gave Arsenal Arteta, Jesus, and Zinchenko. So somebody give us a game, is what Blue Moon FC's got to say here. Is City as good as they were the last 2 seasons? It's a very good question. Right now, I'm saying when Haaland plays, yes. Without Haaland, no. They don't feel at their optimum best, as I've seen them before. There've been a lot more stop-start this year. And people have said, oh, they'll go into a run later in the season. Remember, this season's concertinaed. So we're already well ahead of the amount of games we normally have by the beginning of November across all comps. And they haven't hit that stride yet that they normally do 8, 9, 10 games in. They're a little bit behind that. And I'm talking performance strides here. Points-wise, I mean, they're probably tracking, and I haven't worked this out. What are they on? 32 points from 13. So let's just work out on their current points per game ratio. It's probably very high. 2.46 times up by 38. I mean, they're tracking towards 93 bloody points, which is very, very good indeed. Very, very good. But as pointed out, they've only played 2 of the top 6 so far. That could change. I mean, they could win those games and maintain it. But if they lose of those remaining 3 games, if they were to lose against Spurs, lose against Chelsea, draw with Arsenal, whatever way around, and suddenly drop sort of 8 points in that changes it. Then they'd be tracking towards mid-80s, which is still amazing. But it's a slight drop-off from the level of points they're expected to normally get, which is mid to high 90s. And that drop-off of 10 points, and then another team improving by 15, 20 points, which is possible, closes that gap in terms of title race. Basic math. Basic math. But City are very good. Still the favourites. But I don't think quite as good as we've seen them in recent years. City celebration over the top, but not Arsenal. Listen, I never call that celebrating. I think you should if you're a City fan and you didn't go crazy for that win today and you went celebrating like a madman tonight, you're not having a few jars, a few gins, a few vodkas, maybe you don't drink alcohol and you do something else to celebrate. I don't know what you drink when you celebrate. A can of Coke, a glass of orange juice, whatever it may be. Order a Chinese, have an Indian, go and get a little Turkish kebab or something. Whatever you do to celebrate, you should be tonight. You should be celebrating as a City fan tonight. You should be celebrating every win your team gets. Simple as that. Yashir says absolute penalty. I agree with you, my friend. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments here. One was addressed to me. I've lost it now. Where's it gone? It actually had my name as the first bit, so I knew it was a question. Terry, that wasn't directed at you. Oh, okay, fair enough. It wasn't directed at me. I appreciate that, my friend. Super chat here says Julian Alvarez. I was told today it was Julian. It's pronounced not Julian. Julian Alvarez is Gabriel Jesus with a better finishing pedigree. Pep's words. Why you think sold you Jesus? Why do you think we sold you Jesus Arsenal? How those goals now wait until he's in pressure is what's been said there. Calling out a bit of Gabriel Jesus. He's going to score tomorrow. The way City celebrate if Arsenal are bantered. Yeah, listen, I'd ignore them, mate. I don't think you need to worry about it. Arsenal need match winners for these situations. But they've won all but one. They've literally dropped points in 2 games this year. They have match winners at Arsenal. They have match winners. Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Xhaka, Partey. For different reasons, but these guys are match winners. They'll win games. Obviously, my preview's out later, so we'll talk about more later tonight. It's funny, people used to say Walker, not that good. I miss Walker. That's why we concede more and right side looks weak. Walker's recovery pace as well was so important. So even if you were caught out or he was caught out, he'd be able to recover and get himself back into the right positions on a regular basis. Such a good player. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. But there we go. Pav here says, how do you rate City's defense this season compared to the other top 5? That's a really good question. I think what you can kind of do is look at the league table, and you look at it from a point of view where, and I'm going to put this up in full so everyone can see it. You won't be able to see. I'll put it in big. Let me just put it a little bit bigger so you guys can all see it. Let me maximize that screen. That's the league table there. It's a really good question because City have conceded 12 goals, Arsenal 11, Tottenham 16, Newcastle only 10, same amount of games played. Man United, 1 game left. You've got to think, Man United, by the way, have conceded 16 goals, right? But we conceded we conceded 10 of those goals. 10 of those goals were conceded against City and Brentford. That's what's crazy. Like when you break that down, and that's not to say that so Man United have only conceded 4 goals outside of those 2 games. That's crazy. So as much as United have conceded more goals, there was a heavy weight on 2 games. City are leaking a more regular basis. And I think that goes back to the previous comment, maybe missing Kyle Walker, maybe a bit weak down that right-hand side. So there is some elements in there. And City put 6 passes, didn't they? It was 6-3. I don't know why. My brain's gone, no. My brain has just gone, no, they didn't beat a 6-3. They did, didn't they? That may be the dumbest question I've ever asked on a football terrace, but I'm sitting there going, they definitely put 6 passes, right? But now my brain is not sure. My brain's like, did they put 6 past Man United? I'm going to go and check. I need to see it. But yeah, 6-3. So yeah, Man United literally 4 against Brentford, 6 against City. In the, the other, we've only conceded, did I say 4? 6, I mean. I'm dumb. I knew I got something wrong. It was that. We conceded 6 goals outside of that. Isn't that bad, So yeah, I mean, it's when you look at the top teams, Arsenal, Spurs, Newcastle, United, defensively, it's very close to one another. It really is. It really is. But there we go. Great comment there, Pav. Thank you very, 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 very much for that. Listen, everyone that has tuned in tonight, I really do appreciate you coming on, having your say, leaving your super chats, phoning in, and all that jazz. Chelsea versus Arsenal preview out in about an hour or so. So keep your eyes peeled for it. It will be out on the Football Terrace. I want your views and I want your opinions on it. Tomorrow is going to be a mad day for match reaction, so make sure you're tuning in the studio from very early tomorrow. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again sorry, I've lost my cursor, so I don't know where the mouse has gone. There we go. So we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.